Start winning at the races with Daily Racing Form's new mobile pass performances, featuring exclusive buyer speed figures and expert analysis and selections. Go to drf.com/best and get the power of DRF in the palm of your hand. Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Buer. Race number 6 at Santa Anita on Sunday is the Grade 3 San Juan Capistrano. Let's take a look at this field. And if you're disappointed that the Belmont Stakes has been moved from 1.5 miles to 1 1/8 miles, and you need your long distance fix for the weekend, well, this is your race, because they're going 14 furlongs on the Santa Anita turf in the San Juan Capistrano, and Ward and Jerry, who has won it 1.5 miles, is the 6-5 morning line favorite. And I guess he's the horse to beat based off that victory 2 starts back.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he is, Dan. You feel like he's one of the horses in this field anyway, that the distance could not be a problem for. And overall, he just hasn't really landed in a very tough spot.
As we take a look at the Timeform U.S. pace projector, I agree that the 5 Kershaw should be right out there on the early lead. The whole question with Kershaw is not class. I think he fits very well from a class standpoint with these horses. The question is obviously distance and surface. He might be a little bit better on the dirt.
Yeah, those are two pretty big obstacles for this horse. Not only the surface switch, because his only turf start is not a very good performance. And now he has to go this distance as they switch him back over. Those are 2 pretty big hurdles for this horse.
Connections believe the 1 Soberano will excel at this 1.75 miles. He's 0 for 12 on turf, and he got beaten a 12,500 claimer last time out at Golden Gate Fields. Let's watch that race right now. Soberano's going to come and finish a good 3rd in this spot. King Eddie, the winner, in very sharp form at the time. This is just a gigantic step up in class and distance for Soberano. He's going to really have to appreciate this trip.
Yeah, maybe he's just been crying out for 1.75 miles his whole life.
Red King is very interesting, Mike, based off his victory at 1 mile last time out by English Channel out of an AP Indy mare. He is bred to appreciate longer distances. Let's watch his last race, because he was held up behind horses turning into the stretch. He swings to the far outside. He's got a lot of work to do, and he's going to pass everybody in the final 1/8 of a mile to get up and win by a nose. A really nice effort for Red King. And boy, I think this extra distance actually works for him.
Yeah, it probably does. I mean, he's won going longer before. He was a good 3rd in this race last year. That last race that we just watched, and ultimately he got the right trip, because the last move was the best move in that race. And you saw the gray there on the outside, Avalanche, who he ran down, just probably moved way too early, way too wide. But this horse ran well in that race. He's been fine going longer in the past. He makes a lot of sense in this race.
Number 3 is Tintoretto. We remember him from beginning his career in New York for trainer Mark Henning. Then, interestingly enough, they sent him to Germany as a maiden, and he ended up winning a couple of races, including one by 17 lengths, going 1 3/8 miles over Yielding Going. Those German horses, they really do have stamina, and that could help Tintoretto, as well as his prior experience in American-style racing, because maybe he can get close to the pace. To be honest with you, if I'm Fuentes, I'd try to make the front.
Yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't either, Dan. The distance you feel like will work for him. If you look at any of his races from Germany, especially his last 3, right up there with the pace in all of those races. So they certainly could ride him that way. And overall, he's just a really, really interesting new face to a pretty weak group.
Siberian Iris is taking on the boys, but distance is what she wants. She won the CTT and TOC going 11 furlongs last summer. She got a big pace to run at that day. I'm not sure that's going to happen in here, and she kind of needs it because she is a true one-run closer. She was just overmatched in the Grade 1 Gamely last time out. 2 back in the Astra going 1.5 miles. She ran fine. At this distance, she is a contender, even though she's in against the males.
Yeah, she's a stayer for sure. And again, it's not like she lands in a really tough spot, even though she's facing Colts this time. We'll see what happens. I didn't love her in this race. I think she's going to have to get a little faster. But again, it's not like it's a super strong field.
Likely pace in this race comes from Kershaw, who's only raced once prior on turf, his second lifetime start going 5 furlongs. This is a big step up in class and distance. He's a son of Runaway and Hyde. Those horses generally are best at sprints and middle distances. I guess if he could put them to sleep on the lead, he has a puncher's chance.
Yeah, listen, maybe he gets loose and wires this field, but I'd be pretty surprised if that happened.
Swamp Souffle back on turf. He is 3 for 10 on the surface, but fourth behind Ward and Jerry in the San Luis Rey 3 starts back. Maybe you could make the excuse he didn't like the give in the ground that day, but I think Swamp Souffle overall had a decent trip and just wasn't good enough.
Yeah, me too. I mean, listen, he's shown a little bit of improvement for Steve Knapp since they claimed him for 32,000, but he's going to have to do better than that.
Shame Avalanche had to miss some time. It looked like he was coming into form on February the 7th, 2019, where he split horses in the stretch, got up to win with a 93 buyer. It looked like this horse was going to step up and maybe become a stakes horse. He missed over a year. He's come back and he's run a couple of nice races. Claimed for 40 last time out by Mike McCarthy. He believes this horse can stretch out. He kind of has the pedigree to do so.
Yeah, it's very interesting that this is where they run him right off the claim. Listen, I'm a fan of this horse. I liked him before that layoff. And again, going back and watching that last race, I mean, to me, it's hard not to think he just ran every bit as well as Red King did, just because he made sort of a crazy wide move around the second turn. He went way too early and he got a little bit tired late, but I still thought he ran really well last time.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the San Juan Capistrano. I like Ward and Jerry. I hate the short price, but I just think this horse is built for this distance. He very easily won the San Luis Rey, going 1.5 miles, sitting just off the lead, taking over in the third turn and going on to win. That last race to me just looked like a prep. They turned him back to 1 mile. It's too short for him. He dropped in, was last on the rail entering the turn, and they let him finish on his own. I think Ward and Jerry will be sitting third and fourth with every chance. Unfortunately, the price is no good. You're fascinated by the German invader.
Yeah, I want the new face going this distance, Dan, and I like the horse, that has a little tactical speed as well. Listen, Ward and Jerry to me is way the horse to beat in here, but he's a very short price. Take a shot with Tintoretto.
Tintoretto for Mike at a nice price, 3,827. I'll go with Ward and Jerry in the San Juan Capistrano. Race 6 at the Great Race Place on Sunday is an approximate post of 3:03 Pacific. Best of luck.